Be my guest, be my guest, be my guest with Sean Boy Joe. Be my guest, be my guest, be my guest with Sean Boy Joe.
Hello, my good friends. Welcome back to the Be My Guest podcast channel. Your boy Sean Boy Joe back for another video. And last week's episode saw us go stateside with an exclusive interview. And today you are lucky, you're very lucky indeed, because we are not going stateside, but we're going down under. Oh yes, I'm up very early and my guest is up very late because I am joined by the one and only Garry Scales. Hello, Garry.
G'day, Cobber. I think that's what I should say.
I think that's what you should say indeed.
G'day,
now,
Cobber.
Of course, before the likes of Toy Story, there were some characters who lived in a certain bedroom that we're going to talk about very, very soon. They owe everything to you. Don't worry about that. Everything's owed to you. But let's start by talking a little bit about how you started out, how you got into the crazy world of kids television and what you do now. So tell me, because you're going to say now that you were prancing about your house wanting to do this crazy business from a very young age.
Yeah, no, I was exactly the opposite. I didn't come into it later until I was at university doing teaching, and I got involved in drama at uni. So I had a terrific teacher who actually signed me up for auditions for drama school here in Sydney. I lived in Geelong, which is down south, just south of Melbourne, and so I don't know how I got in, but I did, and found myself within a matter of weeks on the train to Sydney, and I've been here for 46 years or something now. So that was how the journey happened. And all of a sudden I was at a drama school I knew so little about, and didn't know anything about the process of acting. I just know I love to show off, So that's how it all started. So it's been a lovely, gentle ride. I don't do it much. Yeah, well, I don't do it much anymore. I had to look for a bit of security about 10 years ago. So I went back to my teaching roots, and I got a job at a local public school here, not a primary school, where I got my librarianship. So I run the library, and I also teach drama now and do a big production with them. That's where I get my little, what's the word I'm trying to find? I don't know, but it's a terrific job, and I really like it. But I've just got myself an agent again, so I am looking to go back to do bits and pieces. So we'll see what happens there.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, absolutely, and we'll come on to talk about some of the things you're doing now a bit later. But tell me, were your parents or any of your family from that kind of background? Did they kind of push you?
No one at all, and no one who's come after, really. My mum and dad was a terrific pianist, but it wasn't encouraged. He did all the levels one's supposed to do, and got all that accreditation from the various London schools that they all applied for in those days. But he gave it up. I don't remember him playing much, really. And Mum was great around she was a pub piano player, so she was a bit of fun for sing-alongs. That's a bit. So no, nobody hit the stage at all. There was, so it was a big surprise to everyone. Yeah.
So where did that love come from then?
Well, I think once you get that first laugh, or you get that first reaction on stage, even if it's at a college production, if you're made to do it, I think you just thrive, don't you? You go, wow, this is fantastic, and all of a sudden that's the addiction begins, and you can't do anything else, or you don't want to do anything else. I mean, I miss it terribly, and I miss my tribe. That's what I miss the most. All my friends are actors. Teachers, I love them, but they're not my people. But actors are a wonderful bunch,
And of
and will
course,
always.
it's where you go back to. It's your roots, isn't it?
Yeah. I look after a lot of old actors. I've just come from lunch today. We have a pub lunch on Sundays at the Shakespeare Hotel, and I
Oh,
got
right.
average age 85 to, so I pick them all up and get them along there, and we all have a roast and a few bottles of wine and a big old laugh. I
Well,
love
that
the
sounds
older
like a good
actors.
afternoon.
It is.
Absolutely. I want to be in that company. Trust me. Um, yes, you can't imagine just sitting in a room with all of the OG actors, and there you are hosting it all. Wonderful. So, talk to me a little bit about the transition then, and what your first foray, should I say? What was the transition from you going from wanting to perform to actually performing on stage?
Well, the transition was 3 years at NIDA. That's our National Institute of Dramatic Art, which is, I suppose, we have some wonderful schools, and it's as good as any of them now. But in those days, it was the only one. And in this small country, they would audition maybe 2,000 people a year and only accept about 25. And people would be culled throughout the years. But it was very much a Stanislavski approach to acting. I don't think it was the most wonderful course in its time, but still, there you were with a group of people and always working on plays and getting wonderful voice coaching and movement coaching and everything that an actor requires. So I loved it. It was a terrific time. And, it is a very small town here. And once we left, I had a bad time. I couldn't get an agent for ages, and I didn't get much work. And I was getting odd bits and pieces, a few touring shows and things. It wasn't until we have a pub here in Woolloomooloo called the Tilbury, and some mates bought it, ex-actors, and they turned it into a cabaret room. And I kind of started on the ground floor there and was associated with that pub for many years. So I'd always do the Christmas pantomime there, the adult pantomime, and that tradition is, because in Australia we don't have the tradition of Panto like you guys have. We do them, but we do have a tradition now of doing them at Christmas time for adults, a very bawdy version that you wouldn't take children to anyway. No. So, so I started there, and I suppose that's where I got my comic chops, I think. And, and from there, look, I found myself in a lot of musicals. I don't know why, because I don't think of myself as a musical person.
Oh, okay.
I can hold a note, but I'm an actor who sings.
Right. Okay.
But I found myself in musical after musical for years, which was good because it's long running, isn't it? And it's a regular wage. I did the original production of The Boy from Oz, the life story of Peter Allen, which I don't think has been done in the UK, has it?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it had a huge success on Broadway with Hugh Jackman playing Peter. But our original production was quite wonderful and ran for 3 years here. And, I managed to stay in it for 3 years, which is a big test of someone's patience and, dedication.
Yeah.
And I've done musicals like Buddy, the Buddy Holly story. I did that for quite a while. And I did Fiddler on the Roof for a long time with dear old Topol. He was always out here, revising Fiddler on the Roof. And the last thing I did before I took to teaching again was I did a terrific production of Hairspray, which toured the country. So, yeah.
Who did you play in Hairspray?
I played all the smaller male roles.
I see. Okay.
All those, I think they're called the male MAFs, whatever that stands for. But it was a wonderful production. Yeah, wonderful production.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff you've done, the majority of it has been stage work. So what was the transition then from going from the stage onto the screen for what we know you best for?
Isn't that funny? Yes. Look, that was a job. It came up. You went into audition because I didn't think much of it because I thought, they're not going to see my face. What am I doing? We stuck in a suit all day. And I could do an elephant impression. I think that's what got me the job.
Right.
I think that's what got me
Very good.
Johnson. Thank
Very
you very
good.
much. Thank you. I won't
That's
do
your
it
claim
again.
to fame, that.
Yeah, it is. And so we just auditioned, and then we workshopped it for a while because they weren't sure what they were doing, and so but they did know that they were going to create a set that was 4 times larger than scale, or pardon the
Mhm.
pun. And so they took at Film Australia here. They took over a studio and built 4 walls in there. That was Michael's bedroom. So
Mhm.
that meant that we, as human size, could be seen as tiny little toys. I think
Oh,
it
I
works
see.
wonderfully well. Yes,
Mhm.
a lot of people thought they were puppets, but no, we're all inside the suit
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
entire. I only did the first series in the suit, but I did the voice forever after that.
Yeah.
I couldn't bear it. It was too claustrophobic for me. I
In that
didn't want
big
to get
suit,
into
yeah.
it. Oh, it was awful. I couldn't do it. It wasn't my cup of tea. And there are other people who could do it much better, and but it was fun. I really had. It was an enjoyable time. We've just been talking about it a bit recently because the person I mentioned to you before off air is having a documentary made about him and his obsession with Johnson and Friends. So we all
Okay.
got together and watched some screenings just only a few weeks ago. So it's kind of a bit fresh in my head,
That's it.
because
Yeah,
I
the
forgot,
clocks
you
come back.
forget them. Yeah, you forget what you're in, and especially if you're doing voiceovers, you just do it once,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
you looked at it on the screen. So a lot of them I hadn't seen. So
Right.
it's been
Okay.
fantastic having a look at it. I do think it's wonderful. I
Yeah.
just think I think the writing is just perfect to sum up. 10-minute friendship stories. I think John Patterson did the most remarkable job.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you're
and was
right in what you say. When you're in the moment, you don't necessarily think about what's going to come after that. It's only when you
yeah,
look back,
no,
you kind of think, wow, that was brilliant. And what a success that was.
yeah. Was it popular in the UK?
Um, yes, I would say, there were 2 main shows in the UK that came from Australia, the Bananas and Johnson.
Oh,
I
right.
remember Johnson very well. I mean, I look back now at how successful it was in Australia itself with the amount of merchandise that they decided to sell at the time with it, the live shows. I mean, everybody in Australia went crazy for Johnson.
Yeah. Yes,
Why do you
they
think that?
did for a while. Yeah, I think so. It seemed to just happen for a while, and then uh, we didn't hear from it, hear about Johnson again.
Right.
It's remarkable now. The teachers I work with, mainly ladies, and they're all around the 30 age group. Well, they only found out recently that I was Johnson. Well, I mean, they became gooey little fans.
Yeah,
It's amazing, when you meet one of your childhood heroes or someone who's involved
absolutely.
in a childhood memory. It really takes you back, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
happens all the time on here. Every person I talk to, I come
yeah,
off these meetings and go, I can't believe I've just spoken to that person, even at a 31-year-old man. But one of the things that I think you hit the nail on the head with that particular program is the way that it was written, the way that it was directed, and also the way that it was shot. I don't think had ever been done before like that. It was almost like you were taking children into their own world.
yes. I think you're absolutely right. Nowadays, it would be done with CG, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It all But yes, it was the last of the old-fashioned way to do something like that. I suppose Bananas was like that too, and
Hmm. So you were telling me about for the first season of Johnson, you were in the costume, and that
yeah.
quickly said no to that. So explain to me what it was actually like being inside that big elephant.
Well, you feel like one of those football mascots.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing is, you're very restricted because you could see out of one side or the other side, and you had a big trunk down the middle. So most of the things we did were blind, which I
Right.
kind of enjoyed those bits. And we did quite a bit of stunt work, meaning
Right.
you wouldn't be allowed to do it nowadays, but jumping up on drawers, I remember, and diving onto the bed. Well, it was a blind dive, you know. You thought, oh, God, what's going to happen? But,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you're younger, you do those things and you don't question it.
Mm.
I did the stage show. The person who was doing the stage show dropped out, and I was picked up in the morning, taken to a huge arena out of Sydney, and I had to perform the show. I didn't know what the show was about. All I had to do was
Right.
stand in the costume, and someone walked around behind me, just guiding me. But I know that it was a stinking hot day. It was awful, and I could not breathe. And I thought I had my back to the audience, and I lifted up the head to take a breath, but I was facing the audience. Oh, it traumatized children. Children just went, and one kid yelled out, "Johnson swallowed a man." Oh, I felt awful.
Well, thank God you knew the
ruined their
character well
childhood.
enough, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, all these kids just went absolutely crazy for this one character. And, you know, we can't put the scene on why that was. I just think maybe, you know, it was the writing.
Yes, I think so. I think so. The way he encapsulated that in such a short time, and every kid could relate to it. You know, it was about solving friendship problems, you know, and having a great deal of fun too, and making things up. You know, using the room, you know, turning the bedroom into a pirate ocean, and you know, creating a galleon out of a skateboard. All those wonderful things that they did. That really impressed me. It really impressed me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish I had one of those suits. They asked me if I wanted one once, and I didn't take it. I feel silly now. But I do have a very large, I have one of the original dolls. Do you want me to get it?
Yeah.
One of the original.
The anticipation.
The anticipation of seeing. They only made, this was the only one they made, and they gave it to me. Where is it? There he is. He's a cutie, isn't he? Isn't he sweet?
He is lovely. Look at him. There's not a more famous elephant out there, I tell you.
There you go. And he's the original. I love that one.
He'll give Nelly a run for her money, I tell you something. And talking about other characters, you know, I mentioned in the introduction that the likes of Toy Story, I strongly believe, have Johnson to thank. They were the original
yes,
toys that came to life.
People have often said that because it did quite well in the States. The saddest thing about the States was they dubbed our voices.
They tend to do that, don't they? Yeah.
Dear Americans, they couldn't understand a voice other than their own, you know, which is
it's true. And they must have thought, there's going to be too much humour in this for our liking.
Yes.
Yes, no.
Yeah. And look what we've given you. You know, you've been drenched in Neighbours and Home and Away.
Yeah.
You're very used to the Australian accent, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Of course we are. Johnson ran, I think, was it for almost a decade?
83 episodes, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's quite a bit of television. And that was over how many years? That was, maybe 8 years it was over.
Right, okay.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Well, not close.
I know that they...
Let's just say a decade. It makes it sound better.
A decade. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. But I was looking recently because I was looking to buy my little one some DVDs, and there's hundreds of them. I mean, you look online and you can see all of this merchandise for Johnson. It's incredible. So, do you think they marketed the program really well in that way?
I think so. I mean, as far as toys and figurines, there was abundance of them. I was particularly fond. They put out stuffed toys and quite big ones, and I wished I'd collected them. All my nieces and nephews got them, and I think probably still have them. So that was a terrific range, I thought. Then there were tiny figurines and books, of course, and DVDs and keychains and anything else they can find, you know. Right. There was a thing, because it was on the ABC, often kids, I don't know, watched the ABC. Some families, that's all they'd watch. So there might have been a few kids that missed it, you know, who were stuck with commercial television. I don't know, I'm just putting it out there, but yeah.
Right, okay. You're going to educate me. Did it win any sort of awards over in Australia?
It did. It won a couple of. We have Logie Awards here. It won something for. It might have been for music. I seem to believe
Right,
there is
okay.
a Johnson and Friends album. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes, yeah.
It's quite lovely. We did it one morning. I remember, one of those frosty mornings, and I still play it occasionally to the kids at school. It's quite a lovely album. Yeah, really sweet. So I think that's the only thing it won awards for. Oh look, I could be completely wrong. I should have done some research, shouldn't I? Sure.
So should I. So should I. Probably look and think, oh, look at all these awards that Johnson's won.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, it ran for, well, we'll say 10 years, somewhat,
Yeah, 10
7
years.
or 8 years. You introduced various characters into that show, and one of the latter characters was the dinosaur. So talk to us about all of the characters and the premise of what Johnson was.
Well, Johnson ran the bedroom. You had Diesel, who was just like a naughty boy who's running wild and crashing into everything.
Yeah.
You had a very thoughtful concertina, Macduff.
Yeah.
I remember this, who was sweet and confused by things. Johnson was always kind of sorting everyone else out and making sure that everyone would retain their friendships. And then there was, and of course, my favourite character is the hot water bottle, Alfred.
Alfred, yeah.
Who was voiced and always performed. He wouldn't give that suit up to anyone by a colleague of mine at drama school, Peter Brown.
Right.
And I love that character. And he's a grouchy old hot water bottle who, couldn't see the bright side of anything, but would always come around. And I don't remember Victoria, isn't it? She was played by a dear friend of mine, but I just don't remember what role she played. There was a robot too, wasn't there?
There was, Squeaky. Yes, that's right.
Squeaky.
Yes.
A robot. There was Victoria, the dinosaur. Did they bring anything else in? I don't know if they did.
No, I think that was it, apart from the Diesel, the van. That was it, yeah.
The only mistake I believe they made was putting Michael in the bed sometimes.
I see.
Do you remember? Because it was a big head with...
You didn't see he was covered in his...
Yeah, and, fake fur for hair, and it didn't kind of work. And there'd be one of the crew members up there underneath him, moving him around. But it never worked. I thought it was Gus. It was a bit creepy, really, I thought.
Right. Because for context, the toys would only ever come to life when Michael was either not there or...
Yeah. Yes, I loved that about it. So they just all freeze when he came into the room, or when his mother came into the room.
That's it. Because essentially it's what children do. They play with their toys as if they are real toys. So to see that transition on the screen, it's almost like watching you play with your toys, or this is how toys work when they come to life.
Yes. I wonder if kids were sneaking into their bedrooms late at night, wondering if their toys were alive when they weren't in the room.
I think I certainly was after watching 10 minutes of Johnson. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, they were. And I love the fact that there were, Johnson would go for wandering, and he'd go wandering around the bedroom like it was, Hyde Park, and all of a sudden he'd run into a friend like it was a big surprise and didn't expect to see them there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And it was heavily focused on mental well-being for children, because the storylines weren't necessarily on the academic side of things. They were very much, we're going to tackle the emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and getting kids in contact with their emotions and naming the emotions. That was the thing, when one of the characters was jealous, they'd kind of talk through jealousy and, realize that it was such a useless thing to waste time with. And I did get that element of it. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's so well written. That I
Yeah.
was
Oh,
talking.
absolutely. Was it written by the
Yeah,
same person throughout its run?
he wrote everything. Yeah,
Wow, that's incredible,
John
isn't it?
Addison. Yeah, he was a
83
lovely.
episodes. And still by
Yeah,
the end to be writing episodes as sharply as he did from the very
yeah,
first.
yeah. He did. He's not with us now. It's very sad.
Oh,
I was only talking about him at a 90-year-old's party last night, and
oh
we were
yes, yeah,
talking
yeah.
about him. Yeah, and bless him. He was a really, really lovely man. Yeah,
That's Johnson, and that was lovely, and still think that there's a place for something like that today. Whether it will work in that format, I don't know. But do you see something like Johnson, because we've seen the Bananas come back in CGI form, and although that you could say for 2024, 25, it was successful, but no way near as what it was when it first came out. Do you see that kind of format evolving in CGI now? You're going to say, I'm still here, I can still do his voice.
yeah, yes. Oh, most certainly, most certainly. Um, uh, it's a wonder they aren't out there. I suppose Bluey is. I've only seen a couple of episodes of Bluey, but I
Yeah.
love the humour in it. It just hits them right. But what a clever series that is.
Hmm.
That's made a lot of money for a lot of people.
It has, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That's one of
yeah.
the exceptions, yeah.
That's a huge exception.
Yeah.
It's a pity Johnson wasn't big in America, really big in America, so that he could be a balloon in Macy's Thanksgiving parade.
Yeah, yeah, yes, up there with the Rugrats, just next to them.
That's
Yeah,
right. That would have made my
absolutely. But
life.
well, you spoke
Uh,
about, as we move a little forward, about the tradition that we have over here, which is pantomime. I've seen your dames. I think they are rather terrific. Dressed up with all the makeup, and you do all the adult style pantos now, don't you?
yes. I think yes. I think there's a couple on YouTube. I
Right.
think there is My Norman Desmond,
All
which
right.
was which I did at the time when all the ladies in town were auditioning for the role. Back in the late '80s, I think.
Hmm.
And I did it on stage after a production of whatever the show was on at the time at one of the large theatres here. And there's a Rolls Royce came out of the stage, and it is quite. I look at that, and I go, "Oh, I'm proud of that. That was quite a fun night." One of
Hmm.
those things. So
Hmm.
yes, I have. Look, I'm a kind of one of those audacious kind of performers. My work's kind of big, so I get those kind of roles, and I've always enjoyed that.
And you've done so many pantos. You're going to tell me now what's one of your favourite pantos to do?
Ah, well, funnily enough, um, one of my favourites was the year Sunset Boulevard was being performed here in Sydney. We
Right.
did Sunset Boulevard, the pantomime,
Oh, right.
and
Okay.
Tony Sheldon, who played the lead in Priscilla, he played Norma, and it is still one of the funniest shows we've ever done. I think I'm actually going to put it on YouTube. You've just reminded me. I've got them all, digitally ready to go, and I just keep
Okay.
forgetting to do it. So
Well, that's a treat for people to see. Yeah.
yeah, there's a few like that. We did a wonderful production called You Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
That was a bit of a treat. I love that. And we did The Hunchback of Notre Dame at one year. So, what we tend to do is take whatever the most popular show is
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
time and turned it into a panto. And now
Right.
Trevor Ashley is doing that in Sydney to great effect at Christmas time. He sells out theatres in the Opera House now with it. So it's wonderful.
Yeah. And you find theatre a lot more immersive than doing the TV stuff, because you get
Yeah.
an instant spontaneous reaction from audiences, don't you, when you're
Yes, yes, most certainly. And I like smaller the theatre, the better. We've got some lovely little
very intimate? Yeah.
theatres here, 100 seats and things like that. Yes, I do much prefer that, I think. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm looking forward to getting back into it as I get older. I want to be one of those old actors who,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
on for a
Yeah.
little, spends a bit of time in the dressing room doing the crosswords and,
That's it. Yes, you're still hoping for that Logie Award after all these years. That's
that's
coming
it,
to
yeah.
you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's been wonderful reminiscing with you about Johnson, about all of the stage work you've done, musicals and Panto. I think we can take a leaf out of Australia for Panto, because we tend to have the same 4 or 5 Pantos done year after year. And of course, every Panto is different. You've got different actors, different cast. But I do think there's room for more variety when it comes to Panto. So you've mentioned lots of different Pantos that we don't often see, and maybe Sunset Boulevard should come over here. We should do it as a Panto. One of the things I want to come on to as we do reminisce is I want to give you a chance to reminisce. You're going to give me a little education now, because of course I mentioned when I was growing up, the likes of Johnson were very prominent. The Wiggles, High Five, Bananas in Pajamas, all of those programs. Some are on here, but you're going to educate me on the programs that you watched when you were little, unless you were kicking football out in the backyard.
Well, our television started in the year I was born, in 1956, for the Olympics. So, that was the aim, to get it on in time for the Olympics. So we all had, those who could afford them, because they were so expensive. Mum and Dad, they had a television, one of the first ones, for some reason, and I don't know. I just was one of those television kids. I have such fond memories of the early variety kid shows. There were 2 in particular. There was the Happy Hammond show, and there was the other one, the Tarex show. Tarex was a soft drink, and they brought in all these old vaudevillians. So you had all these wonderful characters. It was a breathtaking childhood. They were so wonderful and so real and full of songs and ventriloquists and magicians. And I've got a little doll, a ventriloquist doll, which I just got back from the restorer. It cost me a fortune, but he's a little doll called Jerry G. And every kid my age had one when we were kids, so you could still find them. But it was a fabulous time for television.
Do you show the kids you're teaching the stuff that you've previously done with Johnson? Do they kind of look and go,
they look
just like you?
I've been, if the weather's wet and they're stuck inside at lunchtime, I have been known to put it on. So
that's quite not that you're self-indulging at all in this, thinking that's me. I'm just gonna put my hands up there.
And the kids will often see the credits go up and go, Mr. Scale, I think that was your name. And I go, Although some kids, when they know, it is great because they ask questions, good questions, like you were asking before about the set, and they get shocked when they know that you're inside the suit, and it does fascinate them. Destroys the magic a little bit, but that's okay.
It does a little bit. I get that here with my listeners who go, well, that person just revealed a secret to me and I wanted to keep it a secret for all these years. Garry, it's been absolutely fascinating talking to you. When I came on here, I thought, not only am I talking to someone digging down to Australia, I've spoken to somebody that I can tick off the bucket list and say, another one of my heroes ticked. To say that Johnson played a small part in my childhood would be probably the biggest lie, because he played the biggest part. One of my all-time greats and all-time favourites, absolutely. And you're going to say,
it's the sweetest thing. Sweetest
Isn't
thing,
it?
Sean. It's made
Isn't it? I'm just privileged and honoured that you gave your time up to me.
Oh, well, you don't have to thank me. It's an absolute honour. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, you're very, very welcome. Now, one of the things that we're going to come on to before we wrap up, is present day, and you've spoken a little bit about what you're doing now. And, we've had the news again that the likes of Neighbours is coming to an end again. So do you still watch Neighbours in Australia?
I think it's on in the afternoons at 4 o'clock.
Right.
So I think it's aimed at housewives, dare I say it.
Yeah.
But it's finished now. And it's sad because a friend of mine just got a lovely gig in it. It was like 2 days work a week. It was perfect for her. Yeah. She was so excited and just loving it. Then all of a sudden pulled the plug. That show.
But who knows? Again, they'll probably have this massive celebration. Do a UK tour, which they're doing, and then all of a sudden we'll go back. But I think once you've said goodbye once, I don't think you can kind of do it again.
I don't
have the same effect. No. Now, Garry, I'm going to self-indulge a little bit now, because you are going to sign us out as guests too. And sometimes I pluck my finger and think, I wonder who my guest could be today. But of course, there's only one character you can be. It's got to be that famous pink elephant. So talk to my listeners and tell them, as the one and only Johnson, why they should watch this fabulous podcast, whether they're watching it in Australia, here, or wherever.
I have to say, boys and girls, I can do it. I have to say, boys and girls, that this is the best ever podcast about children's television. And Sean, you are just the bestest interviewer. Wow.
Well, there you go. You had Johnson as well. You can still do it. You can still do. You're holding it dear to your chest. It means an awful lot to you, that little character. I think you owe your life to him, and I think we owe our childhoods to you, Garry. So thank you very much. You are one of my all-time heroes. I've absolutely loved this podcast, and we shall definitely look at doing some more stuff again in the future. No doubt about that. When your autobiography comes out, you've got to write a book now. All these stories, you've got to get the book out. They always say, do it before you pog your clogs, or someone else will do it for you. You'll have someone ghostwriting. Yeah, absolutely. Oh. Well, Garry, you have been my blast from the past in a podcast all the way down in Australia and back again, just like the boomerang. And I've loved every moment of it. So thank you very much indeed. And if you want a little bit of magic, then why not go back and revisit your childhood with Johnson and Friends and Michael's Bedroom? It's much better than all that Toy Story lark. They were there before and they'll be there after. They will never go away. Garry, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Sean. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Garry.